Sub Deadites, I'd like to welcome you to part 3 of What If Deku was the only boy in Luna Nova. It's been about a month since the last part, and the girls are vehemently apologizing to Izuku. One, because he was completely and totally innocent, and two, because he's friggin' wizard. There were two girls that Izuku became friends with instantly after the, events, and one of which is, Akko. She was already a friend of Diana, and the two just clicked. The second one is a friendly rival of sorts in the form of Amanda O'Neil. She just opened up to him after he saved her life. And the two seem to really like, going fast, so why not? Now, Diana is happy that Izuku is making friends. I mean, that's half the reason why he's here in the first place. Diana took a long glance at the man sleeping next to her. She gave a happy sigh and continued to cuddle with him. There weren't any classes today, so they could just enjoy each other's company. She just wanted to drown herself in her husband, but Diana knew that their alone time would come to an end soon. In this bed, at least. Come on now, they're married, madly in love, and have been away from each other for over a month. I don't think I need to tell you what happened as soon as they were behind closed doors. Good morning, sleepyhead, Diana says to her husband. Morning, love. So, how did Hannah and Barbara take the news the other day? Izuku asked his wife with a smile. Diana explains that they were utterly flabbergasted, but soon recovered from the shock. Izuku was right. She could only hide it from them for so long. The number of times she'd nearly been caught by them were higher than she'd care to admit. Castle Magus had a special guest in the form of Akko. The staff took well to her, and Inko found her delightful. She's not here for fun, however. Silva and Diana would be helping her study her magic. Izuku offered to help as well, but Akko refused. I'm not worth your time at my current level. This Akko is going to be a little more grounded and thinks the only reason she got in was the shiny rod. Needless to say, she's serious about hitting the books, but I have to keep some again in Akko, don't I? So I'll say that she's a really slow study. She's not lazy, it just takes time for the info to stick. Now, back to my mentioning of Hannah and Barbara. They were told that they could visit whenever they liked, but first they had to find the castle. No easy way for them. Akko had already found the castle, or rather the grounds the castle was going to be on, so that's why she's there. They were also told that it had to be done by foot. There were spells in place to stop the castle being seen from above. The forest could be very scary if you don't know where you're going, so they were given Black Blaze as a guardian, not a guide. Kuro is a nickname for her. The actual name is Kuroi Hona, which translates to Black Blaze. Izuku would spend the Saturday watching the girls through Kuro's eyes and keeping an eye on their progress. If all went well, they'd make it to the castle by the day's end. For some reason, watching the two friends brought a smile to his face. Even when things got spooky and scary, one never left the other. Even with Kuro, there are some areas that were intended to induce terror. The girls had gone past at least 2 such areas, and kept strong. Izuku had a rather interesting omelet for breakfast. Yes, That omelet, for those of you that have seen Sogeki no Soma, Food Wars. Izuku got a call from someone in Zawame City. Izuku Midoriya here. Yo, Izuku. If you've got some time, I could use your help over here. That place you recommended won't do business with me and said I was lying when I name-dropped you. Amanda was trying to get herself a bike like Machine Winger or made, or as close to it as possible. I'm gonna say that she can't exactly match the specs at the moment since she's just a squire and not a knight. Machine Winger is like, it's like comparing consumer level versus military grade. She can't get that. I'm taking a bit of a liberty in saying that she wants to be a knight and was currently a knightless, well, before, not currently, was a knightless squire until Izuku took her under her wing. The shop owner even accused her of stealing the focal bracelet she was wearing. Izuku's not going to give her a ring at this point, since those are kinda intimate. Constanze was swearing up a storm in German at denial of these parts. Izuku had decided to make her his official mechanic after seeing what she could do. In hindsight, he should have given them both instructions on how to cast basic spells with their squire-level focal bands. They weren't as strong as rings, but what was that guy at the desk thinking? His mark was clearly emblazoned on the brands with his mana signature, and anyone there would... Oh no. Amanda, get out of there right now, and do it subtly. I think that there's a chance that guy may be a phantom, and if he finds out those bands are legit, he'll use you as hostages. Either that, or this is that grandson I've heard so much about. Just leave for now, and I'll be there in a bit. Izuku was saddened that one of his favorite craftsmen, or someone close to her, had possibly fallen into despair, and hoped for dear life that this was just the idiot grandson that she was trying to get to take over the business and be serious about it. Mrs. Inui had been a good craftswoman, but she was ready to pass the torch. Hopefully, Takumi was just uneducated or thought they were lying. Izuku walked in on the girls studying. I gotta go to Zawa, man. Bail out Amanda and Constanze. Akko. That's your hometown, isn't it? Wanna see your folks? Akko wholeheartedly says yes. I'm gonna say that the connect spell is limited to places you've been, so he had Akko put on the ring and cast it on his drivers so that they could go to her house. They were not prepared for what they would find. Mom? Dad? I came to visit. Before Akko laid her parents in a death-like state, Izuku ran to them without hesitation. He checks the bodies while Akko is busy panicking. It's alright, Akko. They're not dead, just drained of mana. He gets a close look at her father, and what looks like disgust could be seen in his face. Your father will be absolutely fine since he's... he's a sorcerer. But your mom had little to no magic in her to begin with. I'll take care of this. Izuku broke out the please ring and got to work transferring a lot of mana into Mrs. Kagari. It was a reckless amount, and Izuku would be out of action for a few hours to come. Akko was shocked at hearing this little tidbit. Her dad never mentioned magic before, and then she saw his ears. My dad's Yup. His dad's an elf who sealed his magic and appearance to blend in with the humans. A path that Izuku utterly hated. That was the coward's approach. Izuku may be hiding as well, but he's doing so in plain sight. Izuku noticed a belt and a set of rings. You don't deserve these, Ronin. Akko, you have elven heritage. I would like to use what's left of my mana to remove this foolish seal. Your father attempted to use his driver, but failed. It's out of sync with him through years of disuse, and his seal is only still partially intact. I am utterly disgusted by your father's choices and actions, but I don't hold you to them. He tells her the whole story. Her father was at one point known as Beast, a man and knight that fought by the power of a sealed demon of the name Chimera. Now, for this, I'm going to remove the Manivore trait, since these belts are intended for elves, and, well, elves are strong with the mana. Beast long preceded Wizard and was a dangerous endeavor. If one failed to control their inner demons on the first henshin, the belt would reject them, and they would become demons themselves. Now, I told you Haruto was dead. Here's why. Haruto was expecting backup from two individuals. One who just didn't come, and another who stabbed him in the back for power. A power that almost destroyed him. This individual became the Dark Mana Knight we shall call Warlock. I know that that's a thing apparently in a wizard book. I haven't read it, so we're just gonna make this a different instance of Warlock. In the end, Warlock overcame his greed and saved the day, but took his own life in penance for what he had done. Warlock had redeemed himself at the 11th hour. Beast, however, if he wasn't Akko's father, Izuku would kill him where he stands. To be clear, he doesn't blame Akko for the sins of her father. I'm gonna say it's elven practice to not blame the child for the sins of the father. Akko, I'm sorry, but this coward must be punished in some way. I am removing the seal, and you'll have to suffer that as well. Please, do not hate me for this. Izuku used what little mana he had left to do so. Kosuke and his wife woke up just in time to see what was going on. It could not be stopped and was irreversible. Ah, the Ronin awakens. If you're looking for this, it's no longer yours. I shall find an elf deserving of it. You deserted your post and left my father to die so you could live a cozy life with this human. And don't bother lying to Akko. I told her everything. Take these, and you'll be able to blend in proudly instead of the coward's way you took. Izuku is being as cold as possible. Now, like I said, the way Izuku hides is with the necklace. The necklace doesn't really get rid of his magical signature, it just makes him look like a very, very, very prominent, noble human instead of, well, an elf magical way. The way, however, Ko did it completely and totally sealed him, made him look like he was a non-magical human. And that, like I said, utterly disgusted Izuku. As for your penance, you shall train the next beast, and make sure they are not overcome by the demon. Let me be clear, if they are, you are a dead man. I don't care whose father you are. Izuku put out his hand, and Kosuke kissed the ring on his finger. He knew he was being merciful. Akko was already wearing a necklace, so that worked in her favor. She was now half-elf, of the wild variety. I'm gonna say there isn't much of a racial divide amongst the elven people. Well, short of drow. So, Akko would be well received when she went to Alfheim to, well, register. Apparently, Mrs. Kagari knew of Ko's past and begged for Izuku's forgiveness, alongside Akko. Izuku would give a full pardon to Kosuke, provided that he did his job. Ko gave them a ride to the Inoui's shop, but has no idea why he and his wife were drained. Doesn't remember at all. Izuku says he'll have it looked into, but that's a problem for later. They arrived at the shop to see Amanda and a flustered Constanze eating at a diner or across the street. Well, what they're eating so far, I'm just gonna say they're enjoying ice cream. So, he let him leave. Good, he's just an idiot. Izuku thinks to himself. Izuku motions for his squire and mechanic to follow him. Welcome to Inoue Craftsworks, where we create the finest in magical equipment. How may I help you? He says happily, then he notices the girls and does a complete 180. Ah, if it isn't the frauds. Izuku is out of mana, so instead of transforming, he shows Takumi his ring. At first he discounts it, then takes a good, hard look at him and realizes who he is. But before that, his grandmother comes in and bonks him on the head. Fool! That's wizard you almost turned away, not to mention our damn prince. Give them what they're requesting. Everyone removes their necklaces since this is a safe place, and before you ask, Amanda and Constanze are in the know. Takumi apologizes when he returns with the order, and Constanze asks for a portal so she can get to work on Amanda's bike. Izuku can't really do that at the moment and explains why. That's dangerous, young man. What if an attack were to occur? You really should have thought with your head instead of... Akko gave the old lady a death glare and shut that sentence down. That and the fact that she was holding on to the shiny rod, to which she cast a spell similar to connect. It lasted long enough for Constanze to get her stuff into the lab, since, well, Akko's not a genius spellcaster at the moment. But it did its job. I'm going to say that Constanze and Amanda live in the castle Magus over the weekends, at least. All was well here in Zawame City. For now. The remaining gang go out and enjoy an actual meal. However, said meal is ruined by 3 monsters fighting each other. Said monsters here as follows: Fangire, Gamma, Phantom. Unfortunately, Izuku was out of mana, so he couldn't fight these guys. Bite! Henshin. Aye. Bachirimina. Bachirimina. Kaigon Ore. Let's go. Kakugo. Go, Sto. By the way, these henshins are happening at the same time. 2 riders, 3 monsters. Izuku goes for the henshin. Error! Crap. Not enough mana. Akko sees her father's belt and tries it. Error! You can't use it because of the shiny rod, Akko. That's when Amanda grabs the belt and goes for it. Amanda, no! Izuku yells too late. She's human. Chimera will kill her. Gate open! Amanda is drawn into her underworld, which oddly enough is a mirror pool of sorts. Ah, a little girl with delusions of grandeur thinks she can become beast. Chimera walks around her as if eyeing a meal. Of course, this was for naught. Lucky you. The state of your underworld tells me that you've already overcome your demons. You also seem to have some elven blood in you. It's faint, so it will have to be brought to the forefront. All you need to do is say yes, young one, and it shall be done. However, 1, you will no longer be human, and 2, it will be very painful. Do I even need to tell you what she says? FYI, that discussion was happening in a matter of milliseconds. If that. Underworld logic and whatnot. Amanda convulsed in pain as her body began to change. Her beautiful green eyes got wilder. Her skin became fairer and her ears elongated. Don't worry, this is the last surprise elf. Amanda was a human with elven lineage way before her time. Gonna go as to how many generations, I'm not quite sure. I'd say enough that it's still there deep in the background, so it's a recessive trait. The only benefit her family really got from it, however, was like slight longevity. Needless to say, a demon was forcibly redrawing out and replacing her genetics. It hurt like hell. Lion! Lion! Jaws dropped as Amanda became the new beast. A battle ensued with the riders coming up on top and ending with a three-way rider kick to their respective adversaries. Wake up! Kick or strike! Omega Drive! Kiva would later explain that it was the Fengar that drained the Kagari's mana, but he got there in time to stop it from finishing. The 4 riders bumped fists and returned to their respective domains. Zalame City didn't quite have its guy just yet, so Wizard and Beast would take the rounds until that was a thing. So, what did y'all think of that twist? I'm going to give y'all a poll for this. Does Izuku completely bury the hatchet with Ko? Or does he still resent him for, well, not being there when his father needed him? This will shape how Izuku interacts with Kosuke for quite some time.